Tonight, more bad behavior from Hollywood hothead Mel Gibson. Fresh tirades straight from the superstar's mouth. He is giving interviews to promote his new movie, and he's berating reporters along the way. Warner Brothers' Edge of Darkness is Mel's first big blockbuster since his infamous 2006 DUI arrest and that anti-Semitic tirade. Now Mel's getting angry when interviewers bring up that scandal. He's lashing out at reporter after reporter. The latest incident happened on a Chicago station. Mel was caught on camera calling the reporter an a-hole.
Thanks a lot for joining us, Mel. Take care.
Bye-bye. So.
Oh, ouch. Before that, Jem, he went off on Sam Rubin of KTLA. Take a look and listen.
Some people are going to welcome you back, and other people are going to be like, he should never come back.
Why?
Because of what happened before.
What happened before?
The remarks that were attributed to you.
That were attributed to me.
Yeah.
That I didn't necessarily make.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But, I gather you have a dog in this fight.
Pardon me?
You have a dog in this fight? Or are you being impartial?
You tell me I'm trying to be impartial, I guess.
Okay. Well, I'm back. And I hope it works out. And I hope people will graciously accept me back.
Did that comment have an anti-Semitic undertone? We're going to get Sam Rubin's take in just a moment. But first, my question, did Mel have coffee in that cup? Mel says it's all a big misunderstanding. He was calling the publicist an a-hole. We reached out to that poor guy, and he says no comment. Straight out to my fantastic expert panel. You can check him out this month, performing at the Stress Factory in New Jersey. I am delighted to welcome actor and comedian and fellow animal lover Hal Sparks to the show. And he was on the other end of a Mel outburst. KTLA's one and only Sam Rubin joins me tonight. Great to see you, Sam. What do you make of the fact that Mel did this again after his incident with you?
Well, I tell you what, I think one thing that you come to understand about Mel Gibson is that this is a fellow who is deeply, lack of a better phrase, and it sounds overly dramatic, I think truly tormented to a large degree. And after our interview, he reached out to me privately. We met privately. He was exceptionally apologetic, and he sort of characterizes himself as being terribly misunderstood, that he's being sort of tarred by a brush that he says unfairly portrays him in a particular way. And then basically, shortly after that, he, quote unquote, steps in it again. So I think it's one of those things where sometimes you're your own worst enemy. He did say that, in fact, he wasn't calling Dean Richards from Chicago, that was the tape you showed, that phrase, but rather the publicist who was standing off camera. I find that somewhat hard to believe.
Yeah. Let's show you the full version of Mel's latest outburst. Listen to this.
I'm just wondering if you think that the public has moved on and will perceive you in the same light.
Well, I certainly hope so. You know, it is a while back. And, I've done all the necessary mea culpas. So, let's move on, dude. Come on.
Edge of Darkness opens today. It's good to see you back in the saddle and doing what you do best. Thanks a lot for joining us, Mel. Take care.
Bye-bye. Asshole.
I'm sorry, I get a chuckle out of it. All right. No. Hal, what do you make of this? You're a very well-known actor. You've done these press tours. How can you go and be belligerent time after time?
Right. Yeah, there's no mistake or accident in any of this. This is Mel basically getting, I think, tired of having to answer for this again because, like he said, he thinks he's done all the fair mea culpas in this. He's done plenty of them. He did the PR repair that his publicist told him to do, and this should be washed under the carpet. And this is the first project he's had since then. The idea that he wouldn't get these questions again is kind of absurd. Here's the big mistake that he made. This is the big thing. He actually asked both Sam and Dean, what are you referring to? When he knew full well what they were referring to, which is, in legal circles, you never ask a question you don't know the answer to. And in publicist circles, you certainly don't lead people into expressing to the public what your social and personal inequities might be. So
I was going to say, Hal, I think that's the great disconnect. I think he doesn't. He's moved on, and that's certainly understandable. And I think to a large degree, much of the public has moved on. But at the same time, I don't think he ever adequately addressed what happened. So here's what happens. All this time passes. You come back to the limelight. It's completely, to me, natural and understandable that people are going to say, hey, this is great. Yeah, go ahead, Al.
Well, the reason is because, quite frankly, it wasn't like it was a drunk driving accident per se. It was a window into his character. Mm-hmm. This is why it keeps coming up. If he'd had a car accident that was because of his drinking, and he'd been able to go into rehab and get it over with. But when he started in with the anti-Semitic tirades, the tie that it had to the Passion of the Christ, and the backstory of that being anti-Semitic, and then in his new movie, in the trailer for it, one of the lines is, "You're either hanging on the wood or you're pounding in the nails."
Oh,
and I'm serious. That. You know what I mean? There's an element where this is going to keep coming up. And like I said, it wouldn't if it was just an occurrence, but it's a window into who he is as a person that worried everyone.
Now, let me go to Dallas in Oklahoma, who wants to weigh in on this. Dallas, your question or thought?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, man, what makes Mr. Gibson so special when he can go out and get belligerent and drunk with other folks, and he can get a slap on the wrist, but when everybody else comments about him or goes partying with him, we can go to jail for 6 months to a year?
Well, I don't know if you've actually been partying with Mel Gibson, but I think it's a very good question, Dallas from Oklahoma. Sam, I got to ask you, after your interview with Mel, you had such strong feelings. You felt the need to make a statement. Let's listen to that from your KTLA newscast.
When I left that interview, I was mad at myself, first, to be honest, because I simply didn't initially understand what he meant when he said, you have a dog in this fight.
What's your interest in
And then a few seconds later, when I did understand, I didn't speak up and say that as both a Jew and as a human being, I was really offended by what he said in 2006.
So, Sam...
You know, and Jane, I'm not... Yeah, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Well, I just wanted to ask you, do you think there was an anti-Semitic undertone to what he said to you? Because he did say, do you have a dog in that fight? And come on, your name is Sam Rubin. Do you think he was being anti-Semitic again?
You know what, to be very, very candid with you, we all use different idioms and different expressions. I was not familiar with that phrase. So when he said it to me initially, and without sounding like a complete dope, I didn't understand what he meant. And then a few seconds later, when it occurred to me, oh, do you have a vested interest in this? I wasn't trying to make it personal. And but when I left the interview, I felt badly. And I thought, you know what, I should have made it personal. And I should have said, you know what you did was offensive to me as a person, as a Jewish person. I didn't do that. I thought that was a little cowardly on my own part.
Yeah,
well, I also think Sam. Yeah, I think Sam. In many ways, it's easy to get caught off guard in that kind of circumstance when that was his response. And I think it's the chance that it really was again an anti-Semitic remark. It shows in the fact that he felt the need to apologize so heavily.
I always find that when I feel bad about what something is that is said to me, that maybe there's something there underneath, lurking under the surface. Mm-hmm. And there's codes that people use, and it sounds like he might have been using a code. And I, too, Sam, often realize that I've been insulted about a day later, and that's when I get mad. Sometimes it takes me 24 hours.